Hi everyone, it's Bridget from Rain, Vermont. Welcome back. I picked up this beautiful piece of Silk Hankie from my local fiber store. I'm going to take it and I am going to use my water-soluble fabric, my Vilene again, and I am going to make the tiniest little circles. I am going to use this beautiful variegated thread. And then once I've washed my Vilene out, I'm going to decide what I'm going to use for some embroidery threads. There's so many. These are the wool threads I picked up in a sampler package. I will be making a pendant of some sort. I have some 18 gauge wire and I have some other tools I'll be using, a baler and some round nose loopers here, as well as some flush cutters. And those are the tools I'll be using today. But first, I'm going to start off with using my Vilene. I'm going to take my Vilene, and this is 8 inches. So I think I could do an 8-inch square. Yeah, let me do that. I'm going to do an 8-inch square piece. So, pardon me. I am going to take this and cut just a 8-inch piece. And I'm cutting 2. I've done this in my other videos when I use water-soluble fabric. And I'm just going to take this so I have a bottom and a top, because Silk Hankie is very delicate. So you need the 2 pieces. And I am going to take it, put it down here. And now I'm just going to take my Silk Hankie. As I said before, the Silk Hankie is from the silk cocoons. And it is very, I put lotion on my hands, but it is very, it sticks to everything. So I'm just going to start taking some and placing it down on my square of Vilene. Taking some more. And I'm just going to be embellishing this with thread today. Pulling it apart. And since I am making a piece of jewelry or several pieces of jewelry with this, it's just going to be nice because it's going to be lightweight. This is going to be my background. And I am going to use some embroidery threads on top of it to embellish after I do my free motion embroidery. And let me see, I think I'll take one more little piece. Here we go. And then this will leave me plenty for another project. And we'll put that aside. Oh, it just reminds me of like the spring forest. So I'm pretty excited about this. Our snow is slowly leaving. We've got some big late season snowstorms here, which have been great for skiing. But I am ready to do some hiking in the woods without snow and seeing all the things pop up, and look how beautiful that is. So I am packing that down, pushing it down, giving it some, there we go. And now I'm going to take some pins and pin it. It can get a little, feisty on the sides here. So I am going to push it in on itself, and I'm pinning it again. And there we go. Just get it tucked in on itself. And I will be tucking it in as I work on it. And my plan is to do just a lot of little small circles on this and just enjoy the relaxing free motion process. So I'm just doing this. It is grabbing onto me a bit. I am at my sewing machine. No matter how
I've threaded up that variegated
much
thread
lotion
that
it seems that you put on your hands,
and
it seems
I
to find a little bit
motion.
a way to stick
down,
to you. So I'm pushing that down.
Needle up.
I think I'll just add one more pin to the middle here.
Thread.
All right.
From the bobbin.
I'm going to take this over to the machine and start free motion embroidering it.
Just going to do a small little jig-a-jog to start this off. And then I am going to just start free motion embroidery. I want to just do some little tiny circles, get this thread out of the way so it doesn't get tangled up underneath. And I'm just going to do the smallest little circles that I can all over this. It's going to take some time, but I want it to be tight and intricate so that when I cut it, it is staying together. I will speed this up. Now I've come to the end and I am looking to see if there's any spots that I want to finish up with my circular motion. And I see there's a couple, but I am going, instead of making a straight line over there, I am going to continue with little circles to get there. I see this spot here. And I'm just going to finish this up. This is a wonderful way to enjoy the free motion embroidery process and learn how fabrics behave and thread behaves, and also thread tension. Here I have my finished piece, and you can see it's pretty covered, and I have a little stray straggles over here, but when I cut that apart, I will just marry it back up to my Silk Hankie and add it into the next project. I did want to turn it over and show you that it's rather interesting. I did not change my tension. So this is called eyelashing on the back, but I almost like how that turned out better. I'm not sure if you can see, that's one side, and then that's the other. But I'm going to go wash this out now. I washed out the water-soluble Vilene, and I really like how my piece came out. It's got some eyelashing effect on the back here, which is very interesting. It's because the tension, as I said, was not equidistant in between the bobbin and the top thread. And then the front side is beautiful too. So I'm going to make a couple pendants. My goal here is to try 2 different ones. I decided on these 3 for some embroidery effect, and I am going to make a couple of these wire frames. I'm going to take about 8 inches. Two pieces of roughly 8 inches, and this is the 18 gauge wire. And I'm going to marry them up here together because I want to sew one and I want to glue one and see which ones I like better. I am taking them together and wrapping them around my circular container. It can be anything you choose. I'm going to just kind of manipulate them into a shape that I like. That looks nice to me. And then I am going to separate them and create using my fingers. I'm just going to wrap this around. And I have my chain nose pliers here. I am not a jeweler. I do want to learn how to do some more of these things so I can make jewelry, but I am practicing here. There we go. That's good enough for me. I'm going to take this piece, get rid of my tail there, and then I want to just make a loop. And this is where I'm going to use my little baling tool here. And I'm just going to come around and create a closed loop. And then again, I'm going to take my chain nose, hold it, and then I'm just going to come around again and make. It's a little chunky, but that's okay. That's what makes it unique and will make it your own or my own. And I'm just going to have that. I'm just going to give it another cut with my flush cutters and just try to tidy it up with my chain nose. And that's good enough for me. If we're looking at the, there we go. For me, it's about the, obviously the fabric. So that's good. I'm going to finish the other one up. I wanted to pop on and show you how I am taking care of my, keeping my beautiful wool threads organized. I am taking them and I am marking them. This is the Eco Vita, of course. It's DMC. So it's DMC, and then it's number 410. And then I'm just going to put Eco Vita down here. And of course it's wool, so I'm just going to add that in. I am going to just make a little snip at the bottom here so that I can take it and then I'm just going to wrap so that I have them all marked as I'm using them. And that's how they look. That's how I'm keeping track of all my little colors. I just made a little card, and instead of buying the plastic bobbins, I just like the cardstock bobbins more. So I have my Silk Hankie. I think I'm going to do one from one side and one from the other. This is an experiment, so we'll see how it goes together. One of them I am going to glue. We did this similar with the flowers. That's what the impetus for this was. I had the idea of making a pendant, and I'm just trying to see where I want. I love this. This side is really speaking to me more. So here I am going to, again, take my Aleene's Fabric Fusion, and I am going to do, I bent this back a little bit so it will be flush when it's laying down. I am going to take my glue and try to not get it all over everything. And I'm just coming around.
And then I am just going to press it in here. Okay. And I am going to leave that one to dry. I am going to try another one. I am going to take this and cut right here. And all these bits and bobs I have that are left over from a project, I am going to put back into the bag corresponding to this, so that I will work with pieces. So I'm not wasting these beautiful, because these little pieces can be added to something very nicely. And then I'm just going to come over here. I think I'm going to do the same thing, because one of them I'm going to back. You'll see. So this is, I'm going to do it again. I'm going to glue this down. Just going to use my fingers since the glue got all over them anyway. And I'm just going to put that one down right there. And I'm going to let that dry. They're both going to dry, and I'm going to come back and we're going to do some fun stuff with some embroidery thread. So these are very close to being dry. Of course, I'm impatient and I want to try and see how this is going to go. I need a third hand, and I had this clamp. These small clamps come in really handy. I am going to come over here and just clamp this to the edge of my table so that, without trying to damage it too much, I just need a third. I need a third hand. And I am going to thread up some of this wool. And I'm just going to, let's see, this is a very, and then I also had these sweet little beads that I really thought complemented this very much. But I have to make sure that it goes through, and it does. First off, I just want to do some experimentation, and I am just going to do some simple French knots. And this is where I'm doing the triple French knot, and I'm going back through. Oh, I love it. I'm going to come back up through. 1, 2, 3. Holding that tail, go back. Take my time. And there we go. Come up. 1, 2, 3. Back in, holding my tail. And I just want to create some sort of fun pattern. I'm not looking for a flower at this point. I want it to be abstract. I'm going to glue that back down. And then back in. Holding my... Sweet. Oh, I just love how that is. And since I have some more here, I'm just going to finish this one off because I have the thread. 1, 2, 3. And then back in, holding that tail. Oh, I love how the French knots look. I think it's beautiful. I am going to continue on embellishing this. I'm really enjoying how it's coming out. The back, I am going to tie off all these into knots so they don't go anywhere. And then I am going to cover the back of this with felt. But I'm going to continue on and then going to do the knotting, trim it, and back it with felt. I am knotting these and as I'm doing a square knot on each of them, I am cutting them off. Now I am very gently going to cut around, making sure not to cut my work. And the glue, when I put the piece of felt on the back, the glue will also reinforce these pieces. I'm adding that to my pile. I love how it came out. Now I'm going to get a piece of felt and put it on the back. I decided it was off camera, I'm sorry. I just traced a piece of the felt to put on the back of my pendant. And I'm just going to make sure that's nice and tidy. And I'm just going to use some more of my embroidery floss and add some more embellishing around the edge in a few strategic places. And that will be, there's a little bit of glue there. I glued everything down and that's going to be nice and tidy. I hope you enjoyed this video. And if you did, please give it a thumbs up and please subscribe and join me in the next adventure that I have with fiber, beads, all of this fun, beautiful stuff, and just seeing this creative world through this lens. Thanks for joining me, and until next time, keep creating. Bye.